This is another element, a sliding one. In this case I measure from the top. I need to transfer the same dimension to this sliding element. A groove will be made in the middle. So that to fix these two elements from the white plastic. It is a hard wearing material. Once fixed, it will probably be immovable. Unless it loosens up. Then of course those strips are mounted on teardrops and can be repaired if necessary. Some marking. The middle spot is to be sunk. Easy and simple, in general. At first, when I looked at the documentation, it was quite a lot, but it turns out it's nice and easy. Now the end mill. First in the middle, to sink from one and the other, and then turning 180 degrees and going on. Moving the T-square, quickly and checking how the plastic fits. I don't want it to be loose. Now I'm drilling an opening for the bench hook in the sliding element. The bench screw presses the clamp which is on one more element of the same thickness just for such small, sliding element to be clasped firmly in the drill lathe. One more drill, but not through this time for about 0.5 inch. This will be under the nut of a big screw. I have drilled it here and that's all the drilling. In this finished element I need to mark the fixing holes of this brass plate and the fixing holes under thick bolts which will mount these sliding plates. The bolts were really huge, about 6 mm, so it won't do without drilling. Hammer in my hand, knocking off, and now I can drill the holes in which the bolts will be inserted. On the other side and on the third one under the slides. It's a simple thing, no rocket science. With the holes ready, it's time for assembly. Applying a clamp so that it does not misalign during tightening. Screw gun in my hand and here we go. Only later did I realize that all the inch bolts are PZ, not PH. Here it's an eccentric screw to go into the middle of the hole tightening with an Allen key. It's blocked and then I fix all the elements, tighten. The silver plate is a nut. I knock it down hard, also tried to tighten up more. So that to squeeze it more, and now when I screw it all together, then this brass element rotates easily. Now the openings, pilot, that I made for the bolts are quite tight. So first I use a screw gun just to create this inner thread in the wood. Now unscrewing and it's ready. I changed the bit and it went much better. Now fitting it all. I have tried to do it very precisely and tight. So maybe I even overdid with precision. As a result, I had a lot of work and used more strength to fit all these elements together. You can always loosen up at the end. I didn't want any clearances, everything was to be very tight. I've checked if everything is okay. Now I'm trying to tighten up with bolts. There is a really very little space and I had to do some work to match an extension from a very hard spring, and that worked. At this point the handle to this screw appeared. It makes the work much easier. Such a big lever, which allows us to slide easily, and then it works very nice. Everything fit. I could start thinking about the assembly of all those three elements of the table. The middle element with holes for clamps in the front of the joiner's bench. Here I chose lamello, so we do it with wooden blades. They will align those three elements, to make gluing easier. 3 more holes are left. Can you see the chips flying? I didn't notice, but the hose got blocked. Later I wondered, where are the chips from? It's impossible, but it turned out that the hose was blocked in one spot, which I hadn't noticed. Blades 20 mm, as you see, everything fits together. I tighten up. Another very sensitive moment is the side of the joiner's bench, where the beech element will be. You'll see in a moment what I'll make. I brought the mill, I think 20 mm, and I'll make such deep sinking. Virtually one pass. One pass did the whole work. Later I only returned to clean and collect the chips. Virtually no dust on the table. The rabbit itself is clean, there is nothing to correct. I make a similar second sinking in this beech element. Let's work. 1 pass, I have it marked the distance to pass, and as we ride along the parallel T-square then I don't need to adjust any dimensions, everything will fit. I need to make a biscuit or a tenon which will be inserted into that rabbet. I'll use a piece of some exotic wood. I have no idea what it was, but one of the harder pieces about 20-something so just perfect. Planing, sawing machine. Planing and precision with a spare 0.1 mm per side. Some beveling of the edge and a try if it goes in at all. It should be very tight. As you can see, the inserted strip is shorter. We expect that the material may shrink so the strip is shorter than the rabbet. Joining everything together, also pushing in. Pushing hard, no mercy on that. It must be hammered and beech is softer than the exotic wood so it will be compressed. We have those two elements joined together. And what next? Now I'm marking the spots under drills for those very big bolts. This is also in the manual. The second line to the left will be the first line of the bolts and 2 more done. Two bolts per each vertical line. The fixed bolts will be 12 by 165 mm and, importantly, here I make sinkings for the heads of those bolts. Teardrop holes will also be made as some of the screws will be fixed. But where the joiner's bench's material may expand after some time, then it needs to be predicted and allow the joiner's bench to work. This is the spot, therefore there are more holes marked. I made a shift of ca. 8 mm, which is certainly enough. Second drill with 8 mm shift and it's ready. Those two holes are shifted between each other, there will be some cleaning. Another drilling goes through. These will be holes for the same screw. The old good WS-15 drill is still doing the job, but of course the bits are sharp. Cleaning the holes. It will be in plain sight, so I tried to do it as nice as possible. These large screws escaped slightly, so I had to correct them, but the sharp chisels will do the work. I had to spend a couple of minutes so that it looks good, but it's worth it. Bits in hand, or into the screw gun. It's 12 by 165 and the hole, I think, was 10 and it's the first drilling. I want to expand those holes so that the whole thread goes through, just to reverse it in a moment. A moment of assembly. I put everything together and impress the bolt tops on the joiner's bench itself. I screw in each bolt minimally so that only the tip impresses the spot for the hole. All the spots are marked. With screw gun I make the boreholes where the bolts will be inserted. Ready. Now putting everything together. Those bolts were difficult to insert, they were to pull tight the strip in the middle. Helping with both the claps and the socket wrench, and done. You see, I had difficult time with the bottom left screw, as there was a conflict there which I had mentioned. One of the clamping strips could be in conflict with the side screw. One must pay attention to the selection of proper lengths. I now assemble it all and check if it works. An interesting extension is visible here. It doesn't bend like the Chinese ones, it's flexible but tough. So I could tighten it with such an extension. Tighten from both sides and see how it beautifully works. How do you like such combination, maple, beech, brass? Excellent. I can't wait what's next. Everything works fantastic. Look at the fitting. Superb smile now it is dry assembled. You can see the press. Joining at the blades is holding fast and poisoning those elements. I have to glue it now and afterwards I cut here and at the end. This will be the basic element for another stage. Or shoulder-wise. Which will be on this side. This will be a new clip. Thank you for your attention, your likes, and for your activity. If you have questions to these steps, although I try to discuss them in every detail, I'm sending you to the description of the clip, where links are provided to the Lake Erie website. They have very detailed documentation. They also have their clips. They base on books on construction of joiners' benches. It's a real mine of knowledge. Visit their page, it's worth it. See you in another episode. Bye. Thank you.